Hi, Deirdre here. Just going to take a look at the best way to take Blackboard questions from a book and then bring them into your module in Blackboard. I'll just take you through the different steps involved. So here's the process, and I will give a demonstration of each of those steps in the video. So first of all, you have to find the book and you find the questions that you think might be appropriate for your particular module. Then you need to create an account with Pearson's or wherever it is that you found these questions. Then you're going to download the file. Once you've downloaded the file, you'll go into Blackboard, into the module that you're working on, and you'll import the pool. Then we're going to make copies of those questions and we'll weed out any questions that we don't think are relevant. And then we'll use each of the chapter questions probably on a weekly basis, and I'll show you then how to make a final quiz that uses a few questions from each of the previous quizzes that you ran. Okay, so I'm on the Pearson website at the moment, and I've just taken this book here as an example. So I've scrolled down then. I already have an account with Pearson's, and you just sign in and they have to verify that you are actually a lecturer and not a student. And that normally takes about 2 to 3 days. I think it's request, or I think you actually, I'm already logged in here, but I think there's an option if you're not logged in and they'll ask you to put in the details of the course you want it for. So then you click, for example, on download instructor resources, and you scroll down and hope that you can find one here that says Blackboard. Okay, so here we've got this one here, test bank for Blackboard learning system, and we click on that. It's going to ask me to sign in, so I'll do that. And then it says once you've signed in, it asks you, do you want to actually download the file? That's fine, I do. So I'm going to click on accept and proceed. Okay, so here it is down on this thing here. It'll be in your downloads folder, and you can just leave it there. You don't need to do anything with that. Then I'm going to go into a module, and I've actually just opened up a module here. I have it here on my screen. It's an old module, and there's nothing in this one at the moment, so I just thought I'd use that as an example. So in Blackboard then, you go over here, you go to course tools, and you expand it out, and then you scroll down until you find test surveys and pools. So click on that there and go into pools. Okay, so now you click on import pool. Okay, browse local files and go into your downloads, and you should be able to see this file that was just downloaded a few minutes ago, and we click on open. Okay, that's all fine, and all you do is you click on submit. Now this can sometimes take a while in Blackboard, and it can take a few minutes. This has been quite quick today, and yeah, everything's grand. It's gone in. So we click on OK. So when we were in here before, there was nothing in here, and now you can see this particular book has 18 chapters. Unfortunately, it just says chapter 1. It doesn't give you, the actual name of the chapter. Just chapter 1 down as far as chapter 18. Now you could go in straight and edit these. I always like to keep a master copy of each of the chapter files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take chapter 1 here. I'll just give you a quick example of this and click on that and click on copy. So I'm clicking on copy there. Okay, and you can see we now have a copy of this in here. So I'm going to edit this. So I'm going to click in here and I'm going to click on edit. Okay, and you can hear here's a list of all the questions that are in it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it. So up the top here, I'm going to click on the name in here and click on edit. Okay, and I'm going to say it's the intro, and then put my initials, and might just put in 01 at the beginning, and then it kind of keeps it in order. Okay, and then get rid of all that. Okay, so I can now tell this is my version of the chapter. It's 01, so it'll keep it nicely in order for you. So always put in a 0, put in 01 for the first one, and click on submit. Okay, so now it's got its new name. So then we go down through these ones here, and you're thinking, oh, do you know what, this question here, let's have a look at the full question. Okay, I'm not going to actually cover that in too much detail. I'm going to delete that one. Okay, and actually this one here, I don't want it either. I'm going to delete that one, and then you can click on delete and click on OK. Other things you can do is you can put in your own particular slant on it, and so you might click in here and click on edit. Okay, and then sorry, it's just taking a few minutes to load. When backed up by buying power once become, and you might change it to something like in an Irish context, and sort of change the question to something that might be more relevant to you, and you can adjust the questions. Where am I? And so you can make the questions a bit more relevant to your particular learners. Okay, and then you can take a look at the different options that are listed here, and you could put in your own options if you wanted to adjust them. Okay, and so when you're happy with the question, you can click on submit. So you'd go down through each of the questions and make sure that they're all relevant to you. Other things you can do is click on question types and decide, actually I don't want any essay types in it. So maybe I'll display all the essay types, and actually I don't want any of those. So you can click this button up here and delete them all and click on OK. So we now have no essay type. So all we've got are multiple choice and true false questions in that. Okay, and so we could then, to display those, we can click on that. Now at the moment we have 33 questions, and at the moment you can see it's only displaying 25 of them. I'll often click on show all so that I can see all the questions in the actual pool. So if I'm happy with that, then I click on OK. Okay, and so up here you can see here was the original chapter with the full list of questions, and then this is my shortened and slightly edited version of the questions. And so you do that then for each of them. So I've just done 3 chapters here. So I've done, I demonstrated chapter 1, and now I've done chapter 2 and chapter 3, and you'd go on through each of the chapters and do it that way. So I'll just show you then making a weekly quiz and then bringing it together in a summative where you're taking a little bit from chapter 1 and a little bit from chapter 2 and a little bit from chapter 3. Okay, so pools are where all of your questions live. Quizzes or tests are where you use the actual questions. Okay, so you never put up a pool in an actual content item in Blackboard. It's always the test. So let's go back to that. Okay, so we go back to test, surveys and pools, and now we want to create a test. So let's click on tests. Okay, and we'll click on build test. Okay, and I'll just say week 1. Week 1 quiz. And submit. Okay, and so we'll go reuse questions. Okay, and so we can create a question set. Okay, and so over here I'm going to take my questions from the first chapter, my version of the first chapter, and I'm going to display them all. Okay, so make sure they're all displayed, and then I'm going to tick up here which selects them all. So this little button up here makes sure that they're all selected. Okay, and then I'm going to click on, so I'm just clicking on submit here. Okay, so I could decide actually on a weekly basis I'm only going to give them, there's 33 possible questions, and I want to display 10 of those. And each question up here, so I'm going to click on submit. So there's 33 possible questions. Blackboard will pick randomly for each student, it'll pick 10. Okay, each student will get a slightly different 10. And each question, so 10 questions at 10 points each, which will bring it up to 100. Okay, so that's grand, and we'll click on OK. Okay, so we've created the quiz, now we want to roll it out. Okay, so we'll go into course content over here, and I'm just going to put it into the main area. And I'm going to go to assessments and test. Okay, use an existing one, so we'll click on week 1 quiz and submit. Okay, now make sure it's available, click on available. Do you allow them to do it multiple times? If it's a formative one, then I certainly would. If it's summative, you might reduce that. Put a password on it. Again, down here, some of the things that I always make sure I include. If it's formative, then maybe I wouldn't have that ticked there because you don't necessarily want it in Grade Centre, but I will always give let them see the correct answers in there. You might want to randomize the questions so that they won't come in the same order. And I often will tick that one there and then click on submit. So now when this question runs, each learner will get a different set of 10 questions pulled from the pool of 33. So we would do that then for each of the weekly quizzes, and then when you want to create the final quiz at the end of the semester, I'll just show you how to do that. Okay, so I'll go down and create the test. So over here into course tools and go to test. Okay, and I'm going to click on build test. Okay, so I'm just going to call it final quiz and click on submit. Reuse questions, create question sets. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select pool 1 and I'm going to make sure that they are all displayed and select all of the questions. That's exactly the same as I did the last time. So I'm going to click on submit. Okay, now this is the final quiz. We're not going to give 10 of them, so maybe we'll just decide to have 3 of those questions displayed from question 1. Okay, and then we'll create a question set for chapter 2 and we'll choose that. Make sure all of the questions are displayed and select them all and click on submit. Okay, so chapter 2 is a little bit longer, so I might actually have 4 of those on displayed, and again 10 points each. So question 1 or chapter 1 is here. There's going to be 3 questions from chapter 1, so each learner will get a different set of questions. Okay, and the points allocated, and then I'll just do chapter 3, reuse questions, create question set, and here's chapter 3. And make sure all of the questions are displayed and then select all the questions and submit. Okay, and down here we're going to have 3 questions. And so here we have each learner will get a different set of questions. There are 10 questions in total and 100 points. So 3 questions from chapter 1, each getting 10 marks, 4 questions from chapter 2, each getting 10 marks, and 3 questions from chapter 3, each getting 10 marks. So a total of 10 questions. Okay, that's it.